Hey there. So we've been in this house now for about 4 months, and we've really enjoyed a summer of really little upkeep for the yard. And it still looks really nice, and just a little pruning here and there, little weeds here and there. But we decided that we want to start making this yard our own. So we're gonna start with some bulbs. But you're wondering why we're in the kitchen. It's because I've had these bulbs for a little while, and so to keep them fresh, I've stored them in the fridge. So I live in Utah, and about 20 minutes away from us is a place called Thanksgiving Point, which is acres and acres of beautiful gardens. And every year they sell tulip bulbs and irises and just different flowers that you can get. So we bought 5 dozen bulbs from Thanksgiving Point, and that's what they look like. So we're gonna plant those. Now I know each year tulips have a hard time coming back as beautiful as they were, and that's why Thanksgiving Point sells them. So I'm hoping we get at least 2 or 3 good years out of them. So let's take them outside and plant. We're outside, it's mid-October, and it's been raining all week, so the ground should be pretty soft. It's chilly out here. Plant them in groups. You don't want to plant them just one tulip here and there, because then it doesn't look as good. So you just want to plant them in groups. Now you'll notice these are already kind of in groups, but I might just do several of these just so that I can have some really beautiful punches of color. So I've got about 60 bulbs here. So I'm going to do 12 holes through the front yard and then plant about 5 bulbs in each hole.
Alright, as we're starting to do this silly stuff where we're going to plant these tulips, which is in this really great ground, we decided we were going to use what a lot of other people have already suggested, and that is, instead of using a shovel, instead of using a bulb planter, that we invested in an auger. We had seen it on several other YouTube channels and stuff, and we figured this was going to be the best way to start planting things in our ground. Rebecca already mentioned that our ground isn't the greatest, so we are going to be spending the next few years augmenting the soil in this ground anyway. One thing that you need to remember is get the right size. For tulip bulbs, we figured this was about it. This is a 3-inch auger. The other thing that we had to make sure of, or they told us in some of those other videos, is that you want to make certain that you have an 18-volt drill at a minimum to do this. And so our old little Black & Decker 18-volt drill. And it's pretty straightforward and simple stuff. It acts like it's just any other big bit. Unscrew the top, put it in, tighten it down, boom, boom, and then we'll go.
So I've placed groups of bulbs around the front yard, and what we're going to do is, if you see this mulch, it's not our favorite. It's pretty dense, but eventually we're going to replace it. But for now, it's been helping keep our weeds down. So what I need to do so that I don't mix the dirt with the mulch is to brush away the mulch so that Russ can auger. Hindsight, we probably should have got a little bit bigger auger because I want a big hole. I want to place them in all the same hole, but we're going to make it work. He's going to make a big hole with our bulb auger, and then I am going to add some biotone, which is a plant starter, and then some compost to help, like Russ said, improve our soil, because it's really clay and it's just not very good soil. But anyway, so we're going to get to it. Okay, now that we have the holes dug, it's time for the fun stuff. So I'm using some starter fertilizer. It's Biotone, and that'll just give the bulbs a nice start for the spring. And then I also have just some regular turkey manure to use as compost. So this didn't dig out as well as we thought, and maybe it's just because the size was so small. So I'm just gonna, it's soft now though, it's loosened, so I'm just gonna use my hands, put some of this stuff in, plant, and tuck them in for the winter. So you want to plant your bulbs 6 to 8 inches deep. And if you see, this end is the root end. You can see those little hairs. Those are the roots. This is the point end. So you want it up like that so that the plant can grow the way it's supposed to. Okay, before we moved in, of course, because it's a construction site, the yard was full of rocks and concrete, and so we came over and we actually cleaned up a ton, but we're still finding a ton because there's always lots of rocks. Look at that one. That one's a nice one. Okay, just some Biotone, some mulch, mix it all in. Tuck these bulbs in. And cover it up with the soil. So let's get some of these rocks out of here to give them a fighting chance. So let's put all of this soil back. So by the time we get the mulch put on, I know it looked like it wasn't quite 6 to 8 inches. I'm hoping that once we get the mulch on and it's a thick layer of mulch, that will be all right. And they will be well enough insulated this winter. Oops, there's another rock. All right, 1 down, 8 more to go. Okay, so we got them all tucked in for the winter. As you probably saw, some of the holes weren't quite deep enough maybe, but I'm hoping between the mulch and everything that they will still be okay. Now we just wait. There's nothing else we can do. We've done our best, and we just pray that they all come up. And also, it's a surprise because we have no idea what colors they are. So it'll just be like a fun surprise when the spring comes and we see all the color popping up in the flower beds. So thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Bye.